everyone, welcome to Gamers Life. My name's Jasmine Kyle.
And I'm our co-host, Brian Melise.
And today we'll be talking about one of my co-hosts' most favorite games.
Assassin's Creed!
So why exactly do you like Assassin's Creed so much?
Well, part of my favorite type of games is the open world where you can go around and do whatever you want. And Assassin's Creed, I think, is basically the epitome of this. Especially the newest one, Assassin's Creed 4, the world is massive. So it's really, really fun to run around and be able to do what I want, not be chained to the missions, you know what I mean?
Right. And now, if nobody knows why we're dressed like this today, it's because of Assassin's Creed 4, the newest game of Assassin's Creed, which is called Black Flag, which is a pirate-themed game, of course.
Right, and I like it. I really do, because the ship combat system is fantastic, and we saw a glimpse of it in Assassin's Creed 3, but Assassin's Creed 4 takes to a whole new level. The ship combat system is amazing.
Right, in this one, you can actually own your own ship. You can go battle other ships. What's the ship's name?
The Jackdaw. Edward Kenway actually has his own ship, the Jackdaw, and it's basically a second player character. You can upgrade it, you can customize it, you can get new weapons for it, and it's a lot of fun to work with.
Now, the first thing that we should probably tell our viewers, just in case they've been living under a rock for these past couple of years, is what exactly is Assassin's Creed, as some of them don't know.
Well, Assassin's Creed is a game that basically follows the life of Desmond Miles. He's a current assassin. He's in the time we are now, up to Assassin's Creed 3 when...
Right, he's a regular person that's kind of been into this one company, and they're basically, these people are put into machines and they go into the minds of the current person to their ancestors and relives their ancestors' memories. Right,
the Animus. And the Animus unlocks the DNA code in people and lets you access their genetic, memory. So you actually live it as if you were them.
And the first 3 games are based on Desmond, but however, in the new Black Flag game, we're following a completely different person because now Desmond, unfortunately, has died in the last one, Assassin's Creed 3.
Spoiler alert on that one.
Yeah, sorry, he dies.
But yeah, in the new Assassin's Creed game, Black Flag, you actually get to insert yourself into the game. The player character is the new person in the Animus. Right, and Edward Kenway, the actual main character of Assassin's Creed 4, is one of Desmond's ancestors. He's actually the father of Haytham Kenway and the grandfather of Connor, the main character in Assassin's Creed 3.
So we're actually going back in time in this one.
For the first time in Assassin's Creed, we're actually moving backwards in time. All the rest of the games have sort of followed chronological order. First from Altair through Ezio's life, and then to Connor, which was after that. This one, we're going backwards a little bit to the age of the golden age of piracy, and we're going to Connor's grandfather.
Now, who exactly is this new character?
Well, Edward Kenway is sort of your average guy from back in the day. In an age where sailing was huge, he was a very poor man. He had a wife, which he wanted to provide for, because she was, born wealthy-ish. So he wanted to provide the life that she was used to, make her happy. So he decided to sign up and go sailing for the Navy. So he signed up for a 2-year stint and ran off, and it worked pretty well for a while until, his ship sank in a battle, and he ended up on a deserted island. And also on this deserted island with him was a survivor from the other ship, an assassin.
Right, and the ship that they were battling was pirates, of course.
Oh yes, fun times.
And this other person just happened to be an assassin as well, and that's how he kind of gets into it.
Yep, this assassin, who ends up being a traitor to the assassin's cause, is carrying a letter and documents about what the assassins are doing, positions, things like that. Things that the Templars, the major enemy for the assassins, would be desperate to get their hands on. So Edward decides, well, I've killed this guy, so I'm going to take this letter and these documents, I'm going to go find the Templars and see if I can claim the reward for it.
That's a pretty good idea. He sounds like a pirate already, basically.
Oh yeah, Edward is very, very money hungry. He's definitely out for himself. And
that was one of the biggest things about this game that I was kind of iffy about. In all the other games, the past 3, with Ezio and Altair and everything, Altair, excuse me, they were assassins to the core. With Kenway, 70% of the game, like you said earlier, he's just self-absorbed. I did not feel, and this is a big thing that has been talked about with the new Black Flag game, is that people think that it is not an Assassin's Creed game, that they think it's more of a pirate game, since Kenway he doesn't want to become assassin in the end, does he?
Well, in the end, he actually gets over himself, basically, and does become an assassin. He actually does sort of get on board with the assassin's mission
But for
after
the most
being
part,
messed up by the Templars so many times.
I have to agree, though, with the 50% that say that this is more of a pirate game, because I personally don't feel like it is. I know that it's a big change from going to Italy and Rome to a whole new, different time period and genre, but at the same time, Kenway did not strike me whatsoever as stealthy assassins, because in the gameplay of this game, you basically don't have to sneak around. You can be a full-out pirate, get on the ship, let's go do some ships. I think they should have added more to the game where they needed to make him into an assassin.
Right, and I'd say the exact opposite. I felt very assassin-y all the way through it, because no matter whether you're on the ship and doing the boarding actions or on land especially, the old Assassin's feel is still there. They've still got the cities and the towns where you can do the free running and the climbing and the stalking and the assassinations. They have all that. They just added the ship combat on top of it, which I think works out really well, since Edward Kenway is a pirate. That's how he started out. That's how he lives his life.
Now, overall, I love the game, don't get me wrong. I thought it was an A, but at the same time, I think they should add something more. I still think something's missing, so I myself would rate the game an 8.5. What would you rate it?
I'd have to give it a 9, 9.5, because it was an amazing game. I love the ship combat, like I said. I loved it in Assassin's Creed 3. Assassin's Creed 4 just brought it to a whole new level, and it was amazing. It was really cool. So I'd give it a 9.5, probably.
Awesome. Well, we'll be right back after the next couple of minutes, and we'll be coming up to talk about a few of the newest PS3/PS4 games. Stay tuned.
I am Pittstate.
I am Pittstate.
Yo soy Pittstate.
Me at Pittstate.
No matter who you are,
I am Pittstate.
no matter where you're from,
I am Pittstate.
once a gorilla, always a gorilla.
You know what? I'm in the mood for Metallica, Snoop Dogg, and NSYNC.
Well, have you ever turned to Caps 13?
That's 13.
Yeah, Caps 13.
Metallica? Snoop Dogg? It's NSYNC? What is this?
It's Guerrilla Radio, Pitt State's only student-run radio station.
My life is complete.
Welcome back, everyone, to GamerLife. Right now, we're just about to discuss one of the newest PS3/PS4 games, Thief. Now, I myself am very disappointed in this game. When you hear the word thief, I thought it was going to be very much, you're a thief in the game, which you are, don't get me wrong, but it was not to the level that I expected. What did you think of the game?
Well, I've got to agree with you. I was sort of disappointed in it. I was looking for more of a sneak around, steal stuff, avoid the guards type of game.
Basically, an Assassin's Creed kind of different turn, when you think about it.
Yeah, sort of. There was a lot of storyline in it, which is nice. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the storyline.
Now,
I truly did.
I didn't like the storyline at all. The storyline was very, very crazy. I mean, we have the main character whose name is Garrett, and he is basically a thief, and he has a sister, and she's the rebel, oh yeah, and there's a different type of artifact called the Primal in this game. It's basically kind of like an artifact. Well, they basically go into this type of ritual scene, and unfortunately his sister gets infused with the Primal, goes cuckoo, and goes crazy. And basically throughout the game, you're just kind of trying to save her, trying to figure this all out. When I hear thief, I did not think of that plot whatsoever. I think it's a different type of turn, which I can appreciate at the same time, but I didn't like it. I really didn't.
And I didn't really either. I would have really hoped that they would have put a lot more effort into the actual thieving aspect of it as opposed to the storyline. Most of their effort seems to have gone into the storyline, which isn't bad, but the thieving aspect of it was just sorely lacking, I thought.
Right.
You steal the same things over and over, and you can wander around and break into houses and go through the houses and go through the drawers and everything. Every drawer opens, every cabinet.
Right. Now there
nice.
are side missions which you can do which are kind of thievy, but he is right. For the thieving part, you can go into like every house and go through drawers and every single cupboard. You can seriously spend hours on this game and only get a few chapters through because you're spending so much time going through every single household, which I did love, by the way, but at the same time, I'm tired of going through cabinets and getting like 20 pairs of scissors each drawer. I don't need that many scissors. I don't. I'm sorry. But I know what they were trying to do with it. It was an interesting aspect.
Right. It's just, I wish they'd have put more effort into it, because how many times can you steal a pair of scissors and feel like a thief?
Right.
I could steal that from an office building. I mean, that's not something I'd go through somebody's house and look for. It's just, I really would have hoped that they'd put more effort into it. You know, make actual houses that have, you know, a jewelry box in it or something. Make it interesting.
Which they did, but there was something missing from this game. In the end, I think we can both agree on.
Yeah.
I myself would rate this game a 6, maybe 5.5. And I know that's going to make some of the viewers mad because they're thief lovers and stuff, but I was not impressed with this game whatsoever compared to others that have been going on right now.
Right, I've got to agree with you. 6 is about where I'd put it too, because it was a good game. It's just, it didn't have quite enough of the thieving aspect for me, because that's really what I was looking for.
Right.
Thief was to go be a thief.
Now, another game that I personally want to talk about is actually an old PS3 game. It's kind of been new on the market, but it hasn't been new. It's been before the PS4 came out, and it's actually a PS3 game called The Puppeteer. And The Puppeteer is a platform game, which, if you don't know me, I hate platform games with passion. I don't like them. I like free play, and I don't like platform. But this game opened my mind. I love Puppeteer. The graphics and story of this game is amazing, and I think it got just kind of swept to the side because not a lot of people, there wasn't a lot of advertisement for Puppeteer. I mean, a lot of people didn't rent the game. Some people haven't even heard of it, and it is an amazing game that everybody should go rent.
All right, and I really haven't heard too much about it. So what's Puppeteer?
Puppeteer is a game where, in the game, there basically is a world, and the moon goddess kind of rules over it, and the sun god. Now, the moon goddess kind of makes the stars, and there's this one star called Little Bear. Now, the little bear gets jealous of the moon goddess's powers and destroys her. Well, doesn't destroy her, but takes her power and kind of enslaves her a little bit. Now he becomes power envy, and he becomes the Moon Bear King. And he has 12 generals, which of course are the zodiac animals because of all the stars. So things start to get a little dark with all this power. He has a giant castle, and he decides, yeah, I'm gonna need some servants now. So he goes to the human world because these two worlds are kind of separate. So he sends his generals over there to kind of go to all the little kids and rip out their souls.
Wow, that is dark.
It is very dark.
That's kind of messed up, actually. Wow.
Now, he steals their souls and puts them into these puppets. So they can basically be his little slaves/servants in the castle. And that's where the main character called Kotaro comes in. Now, Kotaro is a little boy, and he unfortunately gets captured. And in the end, he confronts the Moon Bear King. And the Moon Bear King doesn't take kindly to that, so he chops off Kotaro's head. Now, fortunately, Kotaro is a puppet at this point.
Okay.
And throughout the game, if you get hit by another player or by another enemy, your head falls off. But throughout the game, you're continually picking up new heads: candle head, ghost head, pumpkin head, all these different things.
Okay, so you can just change what your head is.
Right, exactly. And
Do these new heads give you new powers?
Actually, yes. Some of them you
Cool.
can do new things with. But there's these magical scissors throughout the game that you steal from the Moon Bear King because there's two
scissors.
magic scissors, of course.
Okay.
Because the biggest two items in this game is that you're trying to get the Moonstone, which was the Moon Goddess's powers, and then Caliber, which are the magic scissors that can cut through anything. And in the end, that's what actually defeats the Moon Bear King. Spoiler alert, are these scissors. But throughout the game, you're defeating the 12 generals, you meet the Sun Lord's princess daughter, and she helps you through this journey. You find the Moon Goddess, and you save the world. I love the game because of the graphics. It has the best graphics I've ever seen in a type of cartoon game like this. It's just mind-boggling how much work and art went into making this game. And two, there's a different type of setting in this game, really, where there's a narrator talking throughout the whole thing, and he's freaking hilarious. And there's an audience. It's kind of like a play, as the narrator kind of guides you through the story.
So it is basically a puppet show. The game is set up as a puppet show.
Exactly. In a way, it's kind of set up as a puppet show in a way, which I highly enjoyed. I would rate the game a 9.5. And I hate platformers, but this one took my heart to a new level. I love it.
Very cool. Very cool.
Well, thank you all for joining us for this edition of Gamers Life. I'm Jasmine Kyle.
And I'm Brian Melise.
Keep on gaming. Bye, everyone.